Good morning, everybody. This is Sean Fallon from Dickerson High School, and today's crash course is going to be how to attach your SGO to our new um, website, My Learning Plan. My Learning Plan has taken the place of Teachscape. This is where we're going to find all of our evaluations this year, and this is where we're going to be uploading our SGOs. Okay, so the first thing I'd like you to do is log into My Learning Plan and open up the first SGO form. Okay, so you can come right down to here where it says SGO form tiered, SGO number 1. Okay, we're going to be filling in this one and this one, SGO 1 and 2 today. Okay, so I'm going to open this up. The next thing I'm going to do is open up my SGO spreadsheet that we filled out together last week. There it is. Okay, and I want you to have both of these open at the same time because we're going to be going back and forth to both, just to get it filled out properly. Okay, so inside My Learning Plan, you're going to put the name of your school right here. You're going to put the grades you teach. You're going to put the name of the course that you're going to use for your SGO, and you're going to put the number of students that you've included on your SGO spreadsheet. Okay, if you need this number right here, you can find it on the first tab right here in this yellow box. Okay, this is the total number of students that I've included this year. You're going to take that number, you're going to put it right here. Okay? Now, this is where it can get confusing and a little bit intimidating, but the truth is that just like the other form that we filled out together, this is just a lot of cutting and pasting. Okay, so where it says right here, rationale for student growth objective, this is just one big cut and paste. Okay, you're going to go back to your spreadsheet. You're going to go to the last page where it says SGO form, and you are going to take this first big box where you typed in your standards, rationale, and assessment method. Okay, these are the standards you're using to measure your SGO. This is the rationale that you've typed up, and this is your explanation of the assessment that you're using for the SGO. Okay, so just copy this. Okay, copy this whole thing. Come back here and paste it right inside this first box. Okay, very simple. Okay, when you're done with that, you're going to come down to the next box where it says SGO, Student Growth Objective. Okay, this box here, this box here is going to be filled with what you cut and paste. Scroll down. Okay, scroll down on your spreadsheet. Right here where it says Student Growth Objective, you're going to cut and paste this right here, and you're going to put it inside here. Okay? And now, as we fill in our preparedness group numbers, what you're going to do is go back to your spreadsheet, go back to the first page, and for the next few minutes we're going to be focusing right in here down at the bottom, where you're going to be giving them data on your 3 sources of information. Okay, your 3 data points for this SGO are markers of future success, last year's grade in a course or a similar course, and your assessment method this year. Okay, I teach history, so we use DBQs, document-based questions. Here's my DBQ. Here's my last year's grades, and here are my markers. Okay, and I'm going to explain how you fill this in 1 second. For your low group, okay, really simply, you're going to put in the number of students in that group, and you're going to put the target score that you want for them. Okay, so in my low group, I have 10 kids, and for those 10 kids, my target score is 70. Okay, I use 70 because 70 is passing, and 70 is what I want my kids to get. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet. Here is my low group. See right here where it says tier number 1? Tier number 1 is your low group. Okay, so for markers of future success, less than 6 puts you in the low group. Okay, as you guys know, markers of future success, the rubric for that, it's a 12-point rubric. So 6 or less for me puts you in the low group. Okay. Um, Here you go. Okay, 10 kids, 70 is the score. Okay. If you look down here to tier number 2, that's my middle group. Tier number 3 is my low group. Okay, so for markers, it's a 12-point scale. For last year's grades, you're really simply going to just put in there, they're going to be classified by their last year's grades. And for the mini DBQ, for me, it's just a simple score from 1 to 100, 70 passing, 100 as high as you can go. And that's how I scored my 3 data points. Okay, so for my next group, and you can pull these numbers from the last page of the sheet. Okay, for my medium group, I have 12 students in that group, and my target score for the medium kids is a 78. In my high group, I have 5 kids, and their target score is an 88. Okay, so if you need those numbers for yourself, you can go to the last page of the form, and you can look at, you could scroll down here on your SGO, and right underneath where we just cut and pasted, you see tier 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you see the number of students in that group, 1, 2, and 3, and you see the target scores. Okay, so kind of like we've been doing for the last few minutes, all you're doing is taking this data right here and moving it from here right onto my learning plan right here. Okay, and now they want some specific information for each group. Okay, don't be thrown off by the number of boxes. It's a lot of information to put in, and it's a lot of space in these boxes. But the truth is that you're putting in a very, very small amount of information, and this only takes a couple minutes. Okay, so now we're going to focus in on each data point for each group. Okay, so I'm looking at my low group, and I'm going to just discuss for a minute my low group, markers of future success, last year's grade, and my DBQ that I used to score them. Okay, so go back to the first page of your data sheet, and now we're looking right here. Okay, for my low tier, for my first group of kids, tier 1, on markers of future success, less than 6 puts you in the low group. Okay, to be in the medium group, tier 2, you score a 7, an 8, or a 9. Okay, and to be in my high group, it's 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so those are the ranges. That's how you get scored, and that's all you're explaining right here. Okay, information source or data point, as we call them, data point number 1, the name of it is markers of future success. Okay, really simple. And to get into this group, a student scores 0 to 6. Okay, so if somebody has no idea what you're doing on your SGO and they want an explanation of how a student gets into the low group, this is it right here. Okay, this is my first data point, and a child scoring 0 to 6 on this assessment puts them in the low group. Okay. For my second data point, okay, my second data point is last year's grade. Okay, this is very simple. Flick back, go back to your data sheet, look at last year's grade. Okay, this is my second data point. Okay, to be in the low group, tier 1, it's less than 79. Okay, so any score on last year's course on their report card less than 79 puts them in the low group. If they scored from 79 to 89, they're in the medium group. And if they scored from 90 to 100, they are in my high group. Okay, so how do I explain that? I'm going to just take this information right here, and I'm going to put it right here. Okay, for my low group, if last year's final average, which is the data point, was 79 and below, they are in the low group. Okay, so you're going to type it up just like that. 79% and below equals low. Okay, it's kind of foolproof for somebody that's reading this. Okay, and my last source of information is my DBQ. if I look at my DBQ, which is right here, okay, I'm looking at low still. Tier 1 is low. Okay, if you scored a 75 or below on my mini DBQ, that puts you in tier number 1. Okay, so here we go. Information source number 3 is my DBQ, and if you scored 75 or below on my DBQ, you are put in the low group. Okay, very, very simple. And what you're going to do is just repeat what we just did, okay, for your medium and for your high group. Okay, really simple. You can cut and paste and just change the numbers. That's what I did. Okay, my data sources for all 3 groups are markers of future success, last year's average, and this year's assessment. For me, it's my DBQ. Okay, to be in the medium group, for this one, you score a 7 to a 9. Okay, to be a medium for last year's average, it's 79 to 89, and medium for me on my DBQ is a score that ranges anywhere from 76 to 85. Okay, again, all this information is found right here. Tier number 2, go right across. There it is. Okay, for tier number 3, you're going to go right across, take that information, and you're going to fill it in down here for your high group. Okay, markers, last year's average DBQ. For my kids to be high, it's 10 to 12 on markers, it's 90 to 100 on last year's grade, and it's 85 to 100 on this year's DBQ. Okay, very simple. All the information can be found right here. Going down and finishing up, these are my target scores. Okay, target scores are really simple, and this is how you're scored on the SGO by our administrators based on how your kids do. Okay, so to fill in this info, all you have to do is go over here, go to your last page where it says SGO form, okay, and you're going to scroll down, and this is what you're familiar with, okay. For tier 1, if your kids get a 70, okay, they meet the excellent criteria, okay. So if 85% of your students meet 70, you get a 4. If 75% of the tier 1 group gets a 70, you get a 3, a 2, and 1. Okay, these are the scores that your kids have to meet, or the percentages that your kids have to meet for you to get the 4 that you're looking for. Okay, so all we're doing is taking this information from our scoring plan and putting it into my learning plan. Okay, so for my low group, my target score is a 70. I get that from right here, so on my scoring plan. Okay, if 85% of my kids, okay, and I'll actually put percent in here so there's no confusion. If 85% of my group, okay, 85% of these 10 kids, okay, if they get a 70, I get a 4. Okay, and the way I score my SGOs is really simple. I do it child by child. Okay, so if a kid gets an 85, I give him a 4. Okay, if a kid gets a 75, I give him a 3, 65, 2, and so on, just so you can have an idea of what you should expect. Okay, so these are my targets and my scoring plan for my low group. Okay, for my medium kids, I think mine was 12 kids. My target for those kids was a 78. Okay, if 85% of those kids get a 78, I get a 4. 75% get a 3. If 65% of my kids reach this goal, I get a 2. And anything below 65, I get a 1. Okay. For the high group, same thing. Okay, my high group is shooting for an 88. If 85% of those kids get an 88, I get a 4, and so on down the line. Okay, so this information that you're filling out for these 3 sections is all going to be taken right from your scoring plan on the last page of your SGO datasheet. Okay? And we're going to be finishing up. This is pretty simple. Just type in your name and the date that you're going to submit this. Right here where it says results, obviously this is not going to be filled in till the end of the year when you go over this with your administrator. Um, and your kids' scores are put in, and you get your grade for your SGO. We're not going to review it because it's not time for our annual conference. The last thing I'd like you to look at all the way down here was where it says artifacts. Okay, the first thing you need to do is go back to your data sheet and close it because you can't upload documents that are open. Okay, so go down here where it says add an artifact, hit the little plus sign, and it's going to bring you to this pop-up screen. Okay, the name for this, the name for this first one that you're uploading is SGO1. Okay, and the next thing you're going to do is choose a rubric. Okay, scroll all the way down to New Jersey tiered SGO number 1. Okay, this is SGO1, so that's what we're picking. We're going to choose a criteria. It's SGO1 score. And then you're going to just go to add criteria. Okay, once you do that, come on down here to this red box, click this little upload button, and find your actual SGO data sheet, okay, wherever you have it saved on your computer. If you just have it in your email, just take it from your email and save it to your desktop, and it'll pop up right here for you. I'm going to pick SGO1, and I'm going to upload that. Okay, when you click save, it'll upload the file, and you're done. Okay, you can see that I've done this already. That's why I have 2. You shouldn't have 2. I just wanted to go through that one more time so you could see it. And I'm going to erase this now. Okay, so when you're done, your file should look just like this. Okay, don't submit it right now because we're going to have them reviewed before we submit it. Okay, so just save it, and then you're done. Okay, so please don't be intimidated by the fact that we have to upload this data onto my learning plan. It's a really simple thing to do. It only took us about 15 minutes just now. So if anybody needs any help, please feel free to see me. You could also see Tim Rauschenberger. He's excellent with this. You could also see Rob Daly. Rob is very good with this. And I hope this video was very helpful. Okay, thanks a lot, guys.